place.
Wow.
Someone tell you that, my brother.
It's true.
Apparently, they're the proper gatekeepers of the reggae culture in America.
And they earn the most out of reggae than any other artist.
You get they're still earning from their dads.
From their
dad's catalog.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what you call a system.
Yeah.
Unachia watoto system. You know what I mean, eh? Yeah. At some point, even my toys should be cooling off my radio gigs. Psych. Anyways. Yo, like I said, guys, we have the one and the only Craig Sigei. He's a filmmaker and content creator. It's all about the influence of tech on content creation and filmmaking in the 254.
Yeah, so Craig, man, it's good to have you here. You haven't told us your history. Like, where did you come from? How did you begin, pursuing filmmaking in Kenya? What's your inspiration behind all this?
My journey is it's very different. It came from a place of mourning because my uncle had come for my grandfather's funeral.
Yeah.
And he gave me his camera to take photos. And I was shooting just my aunts cooking, mokimo and all that. And then he told me, these photos are cool. And that's how I fell in love with photography that developed into filmmaking. So I always say that my grandfather's passing was him giving me a gift while he was leaving.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long have you been in this industry?
I think I'd say 7 years. So 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So I'd say 7 years.
Yeah.
Began with photography. But I always felt like a photo is just, it's nice. It's a nice still. So it holds a moment, but I felt like there's more to a moment than one still image. So I felt like I needed to do more, so that transitioned into filmmaking. But I'm always curious. I'm always wanting to do more. So that also transitioned from me filmmaking, shooting other people, to wanting to be shot and being in front of the camera. So it's me always just evolving. I never stay in one phase of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like some people, this is just generally, when I look at, an artist, a painter, or anybody else, I feel like some people are born with the natural talent. But at the same time, I see some people, going hard to study. Like I see someone, I'm trying to study art. I'm studying painting. When you took those first pictures, did you feel like this was just out of inspiration or something that was inbred in you? Or were you the type of person who was like, let me try and study this camera, where's the focus? Because I feel like there's a very thin line between, being naturally talented and, studying to get to know something.
Yeah. There's definitely a line, because you find even a lot of guys that study photography, study film, never really pursue it. Because it feels forced, and it feels like it's a chore, because it's not inbred. It's not inbred. So it feels like you're having to do it because of survival. And one thing humans don't like is when you're doing something because of surviving. It never feels like it has emotion. And the thing with art, with music, any form of art, it has to be an expression of self. So if you're not expressing yourself, you're just doing the job. Like you're there to take the photo and bounce, but then there's someone there who's expressing the moment while expressing themselves, So I feel like you need to have that, because it's that fire that will keep you going, even when things hit the fan, and they do hit the fan every now and then.
Big time.
Yeah.
So with us being in the tech revolution era, I've seen some pretty cool things with AI, where they can make videos out of, the few notes that you give it. It can make pictures. Do you think that's sort of going to take away the authenticity from actual people who go out there and take the pictures?
I think there's a place for AI. Like I use AI. Like I find it really nice, especially when I'm coming up with concepts. So I want to show, like a few years back, if you wanted to show you a concept, like there's a music video, I'm going to shoot you in a waterfall. So it's me describing to you through words. There was never like a tool like that. So now I can just go to AI, like Adobe's AI and all these other tools, and say, show me a picture, this waterfall in the Aberdares next, then put this client here while wearing this. And I use that in something called, it's like a pitch deck, where I show the client, this is how we're going to make the film look. So I feel like AI has a place. But then the thing with humans is humans like authentic things.
Correct.
That's why even AI photos, you can see this and it never feels like feels original, because again, art is very emotional. Like it's a person that has poured some of themselves into an art form or into something, and then AI it's just technology. It's flat. Like it doesn't have that human nature in it, and the human one could be worse, but then because it has some of that error and some of the gaps and all that, it carries more emotion. So I feel like AI is here to help, but then it can't take over, because also it can't recreate a moment. Like it can't take a moment where you're carrying your daughter in your first birthday. Like it can't do that. So it's there, but then it's not here to replace anything. It's there to help us.
So if somebody says that AI has cheapened art, is that true in the sense that, you know, you can create anything so fast, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it doesn't have, like you said, emotion. I feel like it also doesn't have soul. You know, you can't really have that connection with it. You know, so should artists be worried? Should consumers of art be worried?
I feel like the true artists should not be worried. Like if you create and you create from yourself, like there can only be one CJ.
It's true.
And I'm not there to say that I do this better than anyone. But if a person is looking for my kind of personality in my video and my art form, they'll look for me, because they cannot be two people, because I don't follow a system. Like I don't have a timetable where I create this and this and this. So none of my two films always look alike. And then also with people watching my films, there's people that tell me there's something about, you know, like there's something, but you can't explain. That's why you see people buy an art and it just spoke to them. And then you are there like, this ugly thing, why did you buy this for 3 million or whatever millions? And so art doesn't have, it's not subjected to a box, like a corner. And then, you know, AI, like again with technology, it's ones and zeros. It's very calculated. So I feel like artists, if you're a true artist, you shouldn't be worried. It's just a tool. And then in fact, I feel like it will make the real artist even more valuable, because again, people are trying to recreate what you're doing, and then it cannot be recreated.
You know, we just played a song by Erykah Badu and Stephen Marley. But I always ask artists this about Erykah Badu and how she was talking about her own art, and she's saying something like, sometimes she's a bit anxious before she posts something, for example, on social media for her fans. She's kidogo slow because humans have become so bloodthirsty, manze. Kwanza Kenyans, let's bring it back home. Yani manze ukipost kitu yote too deadly, you're thinking, wow, this is the one. Some people can really hate. You get seriously negative reviews and stuff like that. So does it affect you, for example, as an artist? You're thinking, okay, fine, I'm excited about this new art that I've created. I want to get it out there for the people. But then again, you're thinking, hey, these guys, they might give me kidogo negative feedback. So do you care about reviews, you know, negative feedback? Am I just, like, do you care about what goes on social media compared to real life?
I'll say this. You see, artists, we are not in a statistically based business as much as, yes, we are in it. So there's no numbers that will tell me that this picture is better than this, you know.
Wow.
Even if I post this on a page that has 1 million people following it, they'll just like it and like it and like it. So it has more likes, but there's no statistic that shows that you performed like this photo will perform like this. So as an artist, I feel like you should not use that as a base of how good you are. Like do not let the numbers take over. And I feel like we've gotten to that stage a lot, because you saw even Instagram had to remove like likes count, share count, because people feel insecure, because you see someone like, my photos are not getting this, and me, I tell them, just keep posting that, whatever it is. As long as whoever needs to see it sees it, and don't take it too personally, because people come there, they tell you, oh this, oh that, but then it's you. You're expressing yourself, however you look, however it's you. So just put it out there. Whoever likes it. Whoever doesn't, I mean, they can go do whatever they want to do.
But how did you get to that mind frame, bro? I like it. You're so solid, eh?
It takes time. But then it also takes grounding. I have very, very beautiful humans around me. I have a brother of mine, you might know of him, he's called Dr. Rain. So he's kept me like really grounded, and it started from the beginning. He was like a guiding tool, like showed me like, yo, do what you have to do and people don't have to mess with it. Like they don't have to say this is the, because also you might know this, but Kenyans don't know what they like. Kenyans don't know what they like.
They like what they know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Kenyans might feel you today, tomorrow they don't. They might like you today, they might not like you tomorrow. And that's why you see like so many artists who suffer locally thrive outside.
Oh.
Like it happens all the time. Like you see, to mention a few, you see a Blinky Bill. Blinky Bill, we might not play his music here, but then he'll go to New York, sell out a show.
True.
But now, now he's come up, but ask him how long he's done this thing, like 15, 17 years. Crazy Nini.
So you're saying Kenyans don't really appreciate art, really?
Yeah, they don't really appreciate art. You look at the videos that do numbers on YouTube and all that, and you're like, this is not a representation of what Kenyan music is like. Like the dope artists, like with dope videos, dope visuals, might have like 10K views.
But they're so indie. It's like they're almost not known.
Yeah, exactly. So again, Kenyans don't know what they want, so you must stay true to who you are as an artist. And if they find you, they'll find you along the way, but you never lost your source.
So as a content creator and a film director, you have to be a storyteller. You always have to be looking at content and visualizing a way to speak about the story that you've been given. So what's your inspiration?
My inspiration comes from a lot of things, like generally things that just surround me. So I'll share like a concept that I did for Red Bull Kenya, and it was going for Red Bull Global. And it's because like I used to go sit in traffic in Gong Road and see all these acrobats.
Yeah.
Like you see those acrobats.
Yeah, they're quite cool.
They're quite cool. Like
Very.
We're in traffic and then there's just acrobats and then they come with that hat and then you just give them a little something. But I use that concept in a film because I see them all the time and I'm like, these guys are so cool and you never see this anywhere else in the world. So I used that concept and we used it for Red Bull, and the guys who saw it out there, they were like, this is insane. So yeah, like these things that just go on around you. Like we've shot a film called Bomber, and it's about an African household. Like just the normal things like cooking with a three stone jiko with kuni that you've just broken there, and chai, and you know that metallic cup ya ushago ya Nyeri, ile the one you put tea and then you sieve it. Like the ordinary that may look so ordinary, but then when it's told properly into a film, it's beautiful. And again, the things that you think are regular, because again, humans, and we suffer from that thing where you see as if there's no greatness within you, because inside you, you're just Stephanie. Like, I'm just Stephanie. But then anyone else who's not experienced Stephanie is like, wow, have you seen that lady? You know?
Wow,
so
like
with an artist, it's the same thing.
Yeah. So there's sorry, did I cut you short? Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of people who've just graduated, especially in multimedia, where they do all this media stuff, film and everything. So what would you tell them getting into the market? What would you encourage them to do?
I'd encourage them to tell our stories, because our stories are not told enough. Like, again, those things I'm just saying, like regular things. Like, I'll give you an example. In Ukambani, people say there's witchcraft, but I call it spirituality.
Nice.
There's a thing called kelume. It's a dance where they come together, women, and they dance when they're top naked, and they dance around a fire and give thanks to the ancestors or to the gods and say thank you for that, for the harvest that they've gotten, and they slaughter like an all-white goat. And I remember seeing it as a child, like I saw glimpses of it, and my mom told me, you're new chawi. But then now as a grown-up, I really want to show that in a film. Like, that's our story. That's my story. Like, it's something I saw as a child. So I tell
Craig,
all
I'm going to
these
have to cut you
people-
short. Hold it right there. Hold it. Just hold it right there. This is a fire combat. The stories are amazing. Guys, Craig Sigei is over here with us, hanging out with the After Hours. He's a filmmaker and content creator. You guys, we're going deep with these vibes, eh? It's all about influence, the influence of tech on content creation and filmmaking in the 254. We're back in a bit. Shikilia hapo, don't move.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Sorry. Sasa, right now it's what time is it? It's 8 p.m. You know what? Stream live this conversation on www.spicefm.co.ke. Let's go to East. Huko hivyo kwa Wakamba. What's that thing called Uchawi? Now you're saying it's spirituality.
Spirituality.
Say
Yeah,
it's
you're a
called
true
what?
Rasta.
Called Kilume.
Kilume.
Yeah, it's
Kilume.
called Kilume.
Okay.
Kilume is scary though.
Yeah, Kilume
Ama-
sounds scary.
To the regular people, it's
To the
scary.
regular people, it's scary.
Yeah.
But now that I've grown and I've thought about it, I'm like, I really want to tell that story because, you see, back in the day, storytellers were the elders in the village, and then now came the people, the era of writing. Now we're in the era of people in screens. And it doesn't all have to be garbage. Like, it can be good films and good stories
Yeah.
and our authentic stories, because our history was always altered. You know the vibe.
I
I
agree.
don't even
I
need to
actually have to
explain that
agree
one.
with
I'm with you.
Yeah, because I try to get like the history of this place, and you read a book, you're like, are you sure? And then you go to like the old people, and they tell you stories. You're like, what? This happened
The
here.
history is his story. It's not our story.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's something I honestly dislike about the Kenyan movie scene, and it's something I may have seen. Someone who maybe struggled to get into the film industry as an actor, that is. When you look at all the programs that are airing on our local TV shows, there's always a familiar faces. You know, there's always that person, you know, this is who. You know, Kenya is a country of mad talent. Like, I don't like how they don't give other artists opportunities, you know, to thrive in the industry as well. Maybe this is a big name, so they're all over the screens. But filmmakers, who makes these choices of the people who they want to choose to cast, for example? Because I've been to the many of these auditions, man. And for you to get a cut in anything is just almost close to impossible. And even if they call for many people, they always select a few. So what's going on, man? What's up with that?
I'll say this. I have been to a few sets, like movie film sets, and I've gotten discouraged so much that that's why I've said, like, I shot my first film this year, like my own.
Your own.
And it was self-funded by me and my brother. And everything else was just, I had to get my own cast and do my own things, because I believe in our stories should be told a certain way. And again, the thing with Kenya, I've told you, I'll go back to it, that Kenyans don't know what they want, so they eat what they're fed. So if you feed these guys, it's always the romantic story.
Yeah.
One cheated on this one. Guys,
Same old scripts.
same old.
Yeah.
like, Kev, would you not want to see Kilume in a film?
Badly.
You know?
Yeah.
And these are the authentic stories. But then now guys will they'll use their same old friends, you know. I also struggle in the film because we have a production company.
Yeah.
And we shoot ads here and there. Same thing, the companies will go get their friends who have the same production company. That's why you'll see half of the ads in Kenya, they look alike.
Manze.
A Safaricom ad will look like another company ad.
Yeah.
So again, using the same guys, you'll get the same faces, and it's a lot of, cutting corners and getting your people, and it's a crazy business. But then we are here to change it one film at a time. So if my Aluta film does well, maybe we'll get better funding. Maybe now I'll do a better job of casting and getting these people. But then I feel like it can change, and it changes with one person after the other.
You think Kenya will create like their own Netflix kind of thing? Or like Nollywood is so big, like the West Africans have really made it their thing. They control their own movie space.
Yeah.
Do you think Kenya has some luck in getting that kind of, platform of this is just our own, it's authentic, and it's, telling the story as you want it to be told?
Yeah, I'll say this. We're in that phase of technology where you can push these things and your art can be seen by anyone in the world.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of platforms where you can push your art. So I feel like Kenya as an industry definitely has the talent and potential.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of now the brands seeing it and saying that, okay, we can push money into this. Because even me, I need this film, I need other films, I need like 5-6 films. But then again, it's not just filmmaking, it's an industry. So everyone has to do their part. The makeup artist has to do their part.
Yeah.
The gaffer, the guy who carries the lights and everything, everyone has to do their part. So you look at Nigeria, it's a network, right? It's a network of tens of thousands of people coming together and making Nigeria a big industry. And then Nigerians also big up Nigerians in an insane level. You find Nigerians in UK hosting their friends that have come from Nigeria and be like, I'll have you here. shoot your film, do your thing here in the UK. I'll help you, push you to a friend of mine that I know, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like Kenyans, we lack that brotherhood, you know, that brotherhoodness of holding each other and pushing each other. Yeah.
As an individual, what form of disruptive technology have you used on your own craft? And you're like, wow, this is a game changer. It's gonna elevate your game.
I'll say this: the internet has definitely, as simple as the internet may seem, because we are just in it. But I imagine, like, back in the day, like Lucky Dube had to print cassettes and send them to Kenya. Like, if you received a Lucky Dube cassette, it means that it came from
straight from the source.
From the source, you know. So a simple thing as the internet, just me being able to show the world my talent while still being here. That means I don't have to leave my country. I don't have to leave where I am and go and show these people physically. Like, I don't have to live here, because I believe like the stories that need to be told are here. That's why I'm like really fixated on staying in Kenya and telling our stories. Yeah, so technology is just the internet, internet, social media, TikTok. You've seen how crazy TikTok is. Like, you could sleep today with 1,000 views, you wake up, you have 2 million views, and people are calling you in Colombia, like, come to us. That can happen in a span of 8 hours.
That's
like,
so true.
Yeah, it's insane. So,
but let me ask you, you know, it's interesting how you're saying you're never going to leave this place. You know, Africa is a land of storytellers.
Yeah.
If you're really creative, which you are, Manze, you can get amazing stories and perspectives in very, very deep, weird avenues.
Yeah.
My question is, are we using tech Vilinafa in order, because this is a conversation I had with my aunt, because she was actually, she's big in the publishing space, and she was telling me, oh, you know, Kev, unfortunately, I feel like many Kenyan storytellers aren't documenting our history, especially our history, as per its full potential. Do you think tech can help solve that issue? You think stories you get that are fully documented, especially from Kitambo, Maze? Because when you peruse through our history, even when you go to like bookshops, you go to like movie stores, even if you check in like catalogs of songs of some of the big artists, there isn't like enough documentation of Kenya's history when it comes to the arts. Do you think we can use tech to bring back our narratives, our historical narratives, our perspectives? We can bring them back to life. Is it possible?
It's very possible, because like I saw a friend of mine, Julia. Shout out to Jules. I saw Julia. She's a podcaster. She tells stories through podcast. But if you think about how far podcasting has come, like with 50,000 or even less, like I don't know the exact cost, you can get very decent microphones. Like good microphones actually cost, even on Jumia, like they're so easy to get. So technology is there, and it's become so accessible to everyone, and that's why you see like this podcast everywhere, which is nice because it's allowing people like a platform to tell their stories. Like these, so like I saw Jules take her podcast setup and go do a podcast with her grandmother in Nyeri. And the grandmother was like telling stories. Even her, she was like, why have you never told us this? But now if you think about it, that's a digital record that cannot be altered and cannot be
correct.
You know. So technology is there, and it can help us so much. Like,
man.
I want to tour this country, and I want to show, like, other than just filmmaking, I really love traveling. And I love traveling locally as much as, yes, traveling out of the country is nice. But I want to show people corners of this country that also they've not seen, so that we recognize the greatness that we have within ourselves. And I feel like that will make us love ourselves better.
Manze, kwanza for the Gen Zs and the Gen Alpha. Because I feel like some of them, and it's so sad, because you look at they look at the families, and they're like, the only person they know, the farthest they can go is granddad. After granddad, everything is people are non-existent. It's just a dark space. No one knows anything about anyone. That's scary, bro.
It's scary. Now, even more scarier. Now, we were taking a road trip the other day on Saturday with some friends of mine, and I was calling my a friend of mine who's working on my car, and we were speaking Kikamba with him. So one of my friends was like, "You mean you know Kikamba?" Now that's another thing, language. Because the next generation, they don't know. Like they are just Nairobi guys. Like just Nairobi. It's Swa and even the Swa is terrible.
Even the English is terrible.
The English is terrible.
Oh, maybe the person just only knows English.
I know. That's it.
And they can't talk any other language.
And they can't talk any other language.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah.
You're picking on our generation.
No, it's facts, man.
Yeah.
Because
I love Steph.
what he's saying happens to me. You know,
You
when
too, yeah?
when I speak, Jeng or any other, like,
Yeah.
how?
How?
You know, how did you even get to learn that? I'm like,
Yeah.
You get me? I was challenged
It's a
by my
choice.
aunt. She was telling me, Kev, you guys, before you age, please do what's necessary for your future generations.
Yeah.
Go find out your family roots.
Yeah.
Go and write stories, take pictures if you have to, because we're not gonna be here for too long.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. You can't start telling your kids stories like the rumors. I'm like, stick,
Yeah.
like
Ati ni mimi nakushow. Ni mimi nakushow.
Trust me.
Trust me. I was there.
Yeah.
You guys, that's amazing, bro.
So,
Yeah.
Craig,
Like okay.
how do you interact with your audience? Just and build a community around the people who you work with as a filmmaker. How do you just like tap into other people and get to learn more from them, ideas and all that?
I feel like I'm a sociable person. Like my dad tells me, like, people just like you. Well, some don't, but then most do. I'm a likable person.
Maybe the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like I try and show my authentic self as much as possible without showing too much, because also you can show too much. People know everything that is going with you, because the internet is big. The internet is big. Like, I meet guys. There's a day I was buying pizza, and some guy was like, "Yo, how's the car doing?" I was like, "How does this guy know about my?" And then I remembered, "Yo, I've been telling guys how I'm building this car, and they've been following step by step by step." So, yeah, like, I just try and show my authentic self, and people reciprocate. Like, if you try and punch someone, they'll defend themselves.
Yeah.
But if you talk to a person, people call them yappers, but then you yap, people usually yap
Yeah,
back.
You're
Yeah.
building a car.
Yes, I am.
What can tell us about that? That sounds interesting.
Yes, I'm building a Land Rover Defender.
Building it
What
from
do you mean
scratch.
building?
Yeah, like, we had to bomoa everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Do a chassis treatment, remove all the rust.
You're
Put
many
it-
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole community of
Yeah,
you.
there's a whole community. Like,
Yeah.
there's a whole movement.
Yeah.
So we did that, put it all back together.
Yeah.
And now it's
Proper
looking
functional.
stunning. Yeah, it's looking stunning. and,
amazing.
yeah. I want to travel with it, do a
Yeah.
tour
Yeah.
to South Africa, maybe Morocco, with a few friends of mine. So
That's pretty cool.
Why would you do this?
one, because my dad had a Land Rover, my grandfather had a Land Rover. So it's been in the family,
That's
so
what's
that's
up.
personal. But then the love of traveling came because of we grew up in Botswana with my dad,
Oh, good stuff.
and back then there was no international airport, so we had to be stuck in a van.
Yeah.
And my dad used to drive for 6 days to get to Botswana. Francis.
Get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
What? That is such an awesome story, man.
Yeah, so that's how I love traveling.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you've had engagements with different cultures,
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Actually, speaking of traveling, do you think there'll be a point where we combine travel with film to be able to at least market this country? Like, if you look at films like Black Panther, everyone wants to know where Wakanda is. But, like, why can we make one about Kenya where people are like, where is Kenya? Like, can we come to Kenya?
Exactly. Like, yeah, another use of technology. But again, with our country, is we don't show our greatness enough. But yes, we can use filmmaking and traveling to show our country more, because there's no country, like, there's very few. Let me just say, there's very few countries in the world, because I haven't been around the world too much, but yes, I have traveled, that will have a proper beach, like we have in Malindi. We'll have old Portuguese, housing in Lamu, and proper Swahili culture. We'll have a mountain as big as Mount Kenya. Before you get to Mount Kenya, think of all the places you'll go through. You'll go through, Savo. Like, that's a different landscape. You get to Nairobi, it's a city. You go through Kiambu, there's tea leaves plantation. These are things that are not common, but because we see them all the time, we assume they're just okay. You go to Kisumu, you see such a beautiful landscape. It's a totally different thing. We have the Chalbi Desert. Like, we have, what is it called? Lake Turkana, the northern side of Kenya. Like, Kenya has so much to offer, and the culture's there. Not just the landscape, the culture's there. Tapping into them, and these cultures are original, like, they're authentic.
Yeah.
You go to Mount Kenya, there's those old mzes that tell you the stories of how they fought the war back in the day. and they're still going. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to do. There's a lot to show. So back to those graduates, like we need help.
Yeah.
We need help in showcasing our landscape and telling our stories.
I remember earlier you said how it was during your granddad's funeral. That's when you found out that you had a love for photography.
Yeah.
For example, and I've been watching this thing called Rhythm and Flow. You probably know it, where rappers showcase their talent, and then all the celebrity rappers, they put them like in a space where they compete against each other, and then one is crowned as the king. So DJ Khaled last week said something so profound. Yeah, he was talking about how pain can really elevate someone's art. And that's why sometimes if you listen to most artists, they usually say, I want to do this for my mom. We've been through so much. My mom was a stripper and we grew up in Brooklyn. This is for my family. I'm trying to create generational wealth.
Yeah.
And then when you listen to his bars, hey, Maze, you can feel the passion, the pain, you can feel the soul. Like they're really trying to paint a picture of their story. It's
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah.
Do you believe that pain can bring out the best in an artist?
Yes. Yes, because artists tap into different things. I feel like I create better when I'm in a good mood. I'm in a feel good mood. Let me say that.
Okay.
Even my mom says, like in the group, like, "Wait, msichokoze CJ," because I need to be okay to create.
Okay. So you can't create when you're sad.
So I cannot create. The things I'll create are not things that I feel like are me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I come from a happy corner of creating
Right,
things
right.
that bring joy.
Right.
So yes, but then there's no greater influence than pain. There's no greater influence that I feel like once a person hates you, they can love someone else just so that they hate on you.
That's crazy what you just
Yeah.
said. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So your next relationship is better.
Yeah.
Because you're getting back at your ex.
You're working on
That's me
yourself.
now.
You're like, yeah, I need to work on myself because these people, they're not treating me. Yeah. So I feel like hate and anything that has a negative thing can evoke so many like things out of you. But I feel like don't let it be the only thing that
Yes.
pushes you,
Yes,
because
it's true.
it only lasts so long.
Yes,
And then after some time you're just depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So use that pain, let it kick you up, and then after you get to some point, just be okay, and then also be okay with finding other levels of yourself.
Okay.
I'll use a very good example of an artist called Kanye West.
Okay.
Like Kanye fuses into different versions of himself.
Yeah.
Because again, you go through different things.
Yeah.
When he was making a certain album, his mom was sick. So he has different motivations. When he's making a certain album, he has kids and he has a wife and he's grateful and he's going through spirituality, he's finding
Yeah.
God. So as an artist, you should be fluid.
Yeah.
You find a
Wow.
cup, you take the form of the cup. So yeah.
And my final question is, before you jump in, damn, I'm forgetting. Yeah. So, when you look at Kenya these days, the art space, the industry has really evolved. Whether it's filmmaking, whether it's music, whether it's just even painting stuff, we've come from a very distant place.
Yeah.
Would you advise the artists to go all in right now? Let's say they're done with Form 4, I'm a uni, and they're listening to you and they're really inspired. Would you advise them to go all in with their art? I'm to get a side gig while they're pursuing their art?
I'll say this: there's a thing we learned in business school, and it's when you're creating a new system. One of the ways of implementing a new system, it was called parallel something introduction, where two systems run parallel to each other without interrupting the other, and then when one gets ahead of the other, you drop the other.
Makes sense.
So I feel like that's how you should approach. I feel like me now, I feel like that's how you should approach the art industry, because again, it's not, you're never sure of the next thing.
It's true.
You're never sure of the next thing. So you should always have, I feel like when you're starting out, you have something else, and then now you have the art that you're doing.
Okay.
But whatever you do, you should never drop the art.
Wow.
Because if you do, I'm telling you, you'll regret it.
Well, I believe you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, because I consider radio to be art. I went to work in Gava. Nilikuwa naka hivi kwa ofisi, JP, remember? At nini bana. You get those guys, the way they want us to dress.
Yes.
You feel like you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, khaki pants and black shoes, leather shoes. I'm just like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I had to come back into the arts, man, because it was so stressful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So also, do you feel like art Do you feel like art has to pay you?
Uh
Like some people say, oh, Kev, at some point I have to monetize.
the thing is this, is that it doesn't owe you anything. Like, no one owes you a thing.
Yeah.
You're just there, you're expressing yourself and doing the thing that you love. And in between there, you will find someone that loves the thing that you love. And they will pay for it, and they will
Okay.
pay a pretty coin.
Okay.
But then also, in whatever you do, I feel like there's always a commercial aspect of it.
Okay.
Like, personally, I love filmmaking, and I'm always wanting to tell my stories. But then there's things that I have to do that are within the art, but are not really within it. But then I have to do so that so that I'm allowed to do the art for long.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you find like a Sauti Sol, they don't want to do corporate gigs. They don't want to go and sit in an office and perform in a board where guys are just sat
Yeah.
and clapping their hands like this,
Yeah.
and doing their fingers like this. But then they have to do those corporate gigs. They have to show up.
That's
So
get paid.
yeah, like I have to do those ads that I don't really like, but then
Yeah.
I do them just so that I'm comfortable enough to now go do my other films, because
makes so
those
much
other
sense.
films also cost something.
It's true.
Yeah.
You need resources to actually create them.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you need some sort of monetization.
Okay.
But don't let it now overtake you to the point where you're creating because of the money.
Yeah.
You should always have that thing where
Yeah.
that is pushing you, like you're creating because you love the thing that you love.
Passion.
Yeah.
As an artist, you basically work a lot with your emotions. You incorporate them in all your work.
Yeah.
Is it important to at least check your mental health at all stages?
Yeah, for sure. I have a few numbers of therapist guys in Nairobi, because you have to be okay. Like I said, I create from a happy point, like a point of positivity, because I want my viewer, if they watch my film, they feel slightly better and they're slightly hopeful of the future. So I don't create from a point of darkness where it's just
Yeah.
So I have to be okay. And to be okay, again, I have to talk to someone. I have to make sure, like again, I have people that keep me grounded. I have my brothers. I have my sister. I have my mom, who's like my rock. And I have my dad, who just tells me, yeah, just keep going, man. This thing is you just keep going. So you can't be in that corner alone, because it's a dark corner. Like, you'll get to the point where you don't know where the next rent is.
Yeah, man.
But you have to have those people where you can call and be like, hey, mom, hii rent hata sijui inatoka wapi. And she may not have, but atakwambia, hey, my son, it will be okay. Like, you find a way,
Yeah.
So you need those people. You need to talk to someone, and you need to have someone in your corner, because freelancing is not easy.
It ain't easy.
It's not easy, yeah.
JP?
What is your biggest
Yeah.
achievement as a filmmaker in Kenya? Something that you're super proud of?
I'll say I'm not sure, but the thing that brings me like the most joy is I meet like young filmmakers every now and then. Like, I go to Tao, and I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but
Yeah.
in my field I kinda am. But
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's okay to be humble.
Yeah. So when I go through Tao, you see all these kids taking photos. Like, some of them stop me and they're like, yo, CJ, I've been watching your work from
Nice.
2016.
Yeah.
I really like this film that you did. I have a few talks here and there, like I invite young guys to come, I talk to them, I give them a few pointers.
Awesome.
I send them some of my templates that I've used for previous films.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they see how it's done. I give them a few words of advice here and there. And then they come back and guys hit you up on IG. They're like, yo, that talk you gave me really made me this. I did this film. I'm like, wow, I've touched someone's life. Like, I've really touched someone somewhere.
I like that.
Yeah, they've become better because of what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always wanted to ask a film producer this question.
Yeah.
When you have comedy, you can tell it comes from a funny personality. When you have romance, they're always looking at, the love in their life and the love in the people. What's going on with the horror scene? Like, are they just like feeding off of fear, or do they have like constant fear in them, like in their mindsets? I've always been like, what were you thinking?
Now, again, that's the thing with me. I do not even watch horror movies. I have had a few relationships where I'm really pissed at you because you made me watch this horror film.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, guys, why am I getting joy from being scared?
Yeah.
Like, shit scared, like pissing my pants.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So I don't even watch horror movies. And I don't see this. Okay, I don't see the cinema in it. I'm like, you guys, hey. If you're going to tell something like a story, let's tell it from a point of... Okay, from my perspective, I feel like let's tell it from a point of truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's things that, I'm like, that's too scary even for me. Yeah, so I do not like horror movies, so I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it at all.
It's good to know that.
Yeah.
Right, let me take you down memory lane. In fact, not even go down memory lane. Like, what is that song for you when you're trying to get into your happy place that gets you there quicker? You're building your Defender, you're just like whistling away. You're like, where is that song? Just play it. And then you're like hopscotching away.
Because I work with a lot of artists. Like I shoot a few music videos here and there, and first I shoot music videos that I like. So I really like the music that I have to like the music that I shoot. So again, my sound is very broad. Like when I cook, I like playing Franco, Madilu system, like because of my dad.
That's what's up.
My dad used to play jazz
Me
all
too.
the way from Kenya to Botswana, so it was a lot of playlists.
Yeah.
But then that was like 3 albums because that guy used to sing one song for 15 minutes.
I know, man.
One song for 15
one
minutes.
album.
One album
All
is
the way.
like 24 hours. You listen to that playlist till you're tired.
That's funny.
Yeah. So when I want to be like in a creative mood, I listen to hip hop because I had 4 brothers growing up, so I come from a household of hip hop. Yeah, and then also like people that have met that have introduced me to like R&B and all these other things. So I'll say like me, I'm a lover of music, and yeah, so music will get me there.
Yeah.
Like if it's music that I like, depending on the mood that I'm on, it will get me there.
Yeah.
So what mood are you on right now, bro?
I'm feeling Mob Deep.
Mob Deep. Yeah, you guys are I've got some Mob Deep, man. Shook ones.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thanks for coming through, my guy. It's been a real conversation.
Thank you
guys,
for having me.
by the way, you know what? This country these days, you never know who's listening. Maybe somebody might want to further this conversation. How can they link up with you, bro?
I think most of my social media is CJ_pixels_. Or if you search CJ Pixels, you will find me somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff, man. That is Craig CJ. He's a filmmaker. You guys already know him, and content creator. Today we'll be talking, we kind of touched on tech, but that's just arts.
Yes.
And we love arts over here. So thanks for coming through, CJ. It's
Thank
been
you for
real,
having
man.
me. It's been a pleasure.
Be blessed. Sasa. When we come back, cruising the internet. Steph, what do you have in mind?
We've got some fire stories.
Go fire ones, huh?
Yeah, fire ones. You just have
Trending ones.
You have to.
I also saw about some 2 Kenyan politicians have been banned from going to the United States because of these Adani Manenos. And then also, who knows about a radio presenter, former radio presenter known as Munene Nyaga? You know him?
Yeah.
So you know him?
I do.
Steph, have you heard of him? So I'll tell you what happened to him when we come back in a bit. So Twende Kazi. This one is of course CJ's track. Amesema he loves to listen to some. I know that he feels like he's in the mood for some Mob Deep. Yes, let me put it like that. And then still on the playlist I have some Carnival, Mr. Sanova and Randy Valentine. It's 28 minutes past 8.
Stream your favorite show on SpiceFM. Live online.
Word up, son. Word.
Yeah, to all the killers and